2 years ago my car started dying in the middle of a long trip. I do a few of those a year and this time it ended at the mechanic. So my partner and I sat down and had the obvious conversation. The family is growing, the car is getting old, maybe it's finally time to buy a new one. And we decided not to. We are still driving that same car today. That one decision and the small rule behind it is really the whole idea behind this video. Because this isn't a video about spending less to punish ourselves. It's about deciding with intention. So I'm gonna talk about 5 things I stopped buying, then the one thing I will never cut no matter what. I grew up in a family that never owned a car and never had much spare money. My parents never lived above what they had, so being careful with money isn't some system I adopted, it's just how I was raised, and I've kept the parts of it that still make sense to me today. Let me finish the car story, and this is the first thing of the 5, because the rule inside it is the useful part. We looked at it properly and the truth was we don't need a new one. The car still does everything we ask of it, so we made a simple rule. We will replace it when it actually stops working or when repair costs more than the car is worth, and not a day before. Right now the only real money it costs us is fuel and the normal yearly upkeep. Maintenance runs us maybe 200 or 300 and not every year, every couple of years. The trap with the car is that the payment is monthly and the joy is temporary, but the decision quietly follows us for years. A new car would have felt great for a month. The old one that already does the job costs us almost nothing and asks nothing of our future. The second thing was food delivery apps. This one was a real habit for me and it's an easy one to fall into because the app makes it effortless. A couple of taps and dinner shows up at the door. And that easy is exactly the problem. When ordering is that easy, it stops being an occasional threat and quietly becomes a default. Most nights of the week, and those small amounts add up into a generally big number by the end of the month. So I stopped using it. Not a dramatic ban, I just made cooking at home the normal thing again and delivery became the rare exception it was supposed to be. The money was the obvious win, but it also fits straight into the one thing I will never cut, which we will come back at the end because what we make at home is usually far better for us than what arrives in the bag. Third, a pile of subscriptions I wasn't watching. I keep very few subscriptions, mostly because with a family and side projects I barely have time to watch one thing, let alone 5. But there is a trick worth actually using, because they are all monthly now. When there is a series I want on one service, I subscribe, I watch it, and then I cancel. When there is something on another one, next month I subscribe to that instead. I'm never paying for 4 services at once to watch one show at a time, and even when there are 2 things I want, I will often just watch one this month and the other next month, instead of paying for both to sit there all fused. Same shows, a fraction of the cost, and I never feel like I'm going without. Number 4. Clothes. About 6 years since I really bought clothes. Part of that is practical. I work from home and I do a lot of sports, so most days I'm in sport clothes anyways. Even when I go to pick my kids up from school, I just go the way I already am, in my sports clothes. But part of it is a belief, and it's the important part. I don't think it matters to show off, it never has to me. What matters is being comfortable, and for me comfortable is exactly those clothes. The moment we start dressing for other people instead of ourselves is usually the moment the spending stops making sense. Number 5. The gym. This one's different because it's where I learned that cutting isn't always the right move and running the numbers is. A few years back, instead of paying around $50 a month for a gym, I bought a machine for home when I had the space, about $1,000 on a promotion. Do the simple math and it pays for itself in under 2 years. And I used it almost every day for 4 years. Then the family grew, I needed the space and I sold it for the same price I paid because I'd bought it on a sale in the first place. But here is the honest turn. Today, I pay for a gym again, and I have no intention of cutting it, because working out isn't a luxury for me, it's what keeps my head clear enough to focus on everything else, the projects included. A healthy body and a healthy mind are the engine for all of it, so the lesson was never cancel the gym. It was run the numbers and know which things are actually worth paying for. Which brings me to the thing I will never cut: good food. This one comes straight from my parents. They never lived above their means, but the one place they never cut was food. Real food, meat and fish, not sugar and soft drink. And I've kept that exactly. And there is another reason behind it. Yes, cheaper food would free up more money to invest, but over the long run, eating badly makes us unhealthy, and being unhealthy pulls our mood down, and the low mood goes looking for dopamine, usually in more bad food or in spending. It's an expensive little loop, and it's much harder to escape than it looks. Paying for good food is, for me, one of the best investments we can have. I will take it one step further, because it surprised me. A couple of years ago I started taking food seriously, and I now eat in fairly disciplined way. I do a daily fast, eating roughly between midday and the evening. It was hard at the start, but the strange payoff is that I lowered how much dopamine my brain demands in general. I think less about my next meal, and small things matter more than they used to. And that discipline doesn't stay in the kitchen. It shows up at the checkout, in the version of me that can look at something appealing and calmly decide, I don't actually need this. So it is how I actually don't think about any of this. I don't sit around calculating, I skipped this one delivery, invested the money, and now it's worth so much. No, that framing never did anything for me. What actually works is smaller and slower. We find one thing where our life could be a little better or a little more deliberate, and we fix that one thing. It compounds. Fixing it makes us want to fix the next one, and a year or two of that quietly, and we are genuinely different person, not just with money, but in general. So, a car I didn't need, leaning on delivery apps, a stack of subscriptions, clothes I bought to impress no one, and the gym cost I learned to actually think about, and the one I will never touch: good food. If there is one thing to do this week, pick the single recurring cost that's been running on autopilot the longest and just look at it properly. Not to cut it on principle, but to decide on purpose whether it's still worth it. If it's something like a car, there is a tool on my website at joãofreire.finance that puts the cost of keeping a thing next to what that money could become instead. I built it because I wanted it myself. And I'm curious about the opposite side of this. What's the one thing that you refuse to cut, the thing that's completely worth it to you? Mine is clearly the food. Tell me yours in the comment.